What's up, everyone? Jughead's Journey here. Welcome back to our Berserk Manga reading series. Today, we're reading Chapter 0.07, Guardians of Desire, Part 5. So without any further ado, tune in, read alongside with me during my full uncut reading reaction, and then stay for my deep analysis discussion afterwards. So we open up to the citizens of the town looking out into the distance. This has to be the portal to where we meet the God Hand when the Bearit activated from the Count's desire. He doesn't want to die. This has to be what they entered when we entered a new dimension. Imagine just regular civilians just seeing this. Let me change. Guardians of Desire, Chapter 5. I'm just a man. I see some ass up in the top left-hand corner. I want to know who she is. Let me see who she is. Might be my favorite character already. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ooh, a good close-up now. Again, this has to be... The armor does not give off woman, but I'd love if it was kind of the case. But these are either the most feminine lips, nose, face looking ever, and there's a man underneath here, or that's a woman. And then this is Danny DeVito, and looks like he has glasses like sewn, stitched, fused to his face. I don't know who this blob is. I'm gonna have to think about who this looks like. This might actually be my favorite character showing up. I hope we get a close-up of this, because he looks like straight out of Mars Attacks. The aliens from Mars Attacks. Brain outside his skull. But hey, she's hot. Giving off Medusa. Scantily, what outfit is this? Some bat wings, you know, covering up the necessities, and that's it. Who is this? That's the God Hand? Griffith! Wait, that's Griffith? Did I spoil myself accidentally in the first 2 prologue chapters? Because page 1, if you go back to those videos, like page 1 shows Griffith not looking like this with that quote above. I'm trying to remember what the face looked like. Still looked like a woman to me, but not looking like... Did I spoil myself accidentally? But I guess we'll move on. But Guts knows who Griffith is. Okay, now we get a close-up. Again, either that's a woman or a man with the most feminine features I've ever seen. But this looks sick. Looking like a falcon, eagle, hawk, or Griffith, I guess. If that's where they're getting the name derived from. Ooh, an even closer close-up. Griffith! Again, feminine lips, feminine-looking eyes, lizard eyes. And this definitely looks like, you know, avian in nature. Looking like, I guess, a falcon, hawk, eagle. Griffith? Who's Griffith? Still squirming around in your pitiful existence, I see. So they have a history. They have a past. What did you say? Wait. Oh, shit. Okay, so might actually be... Okay, so human face, but... Okay, so Griffith used to be a human and is no longer. Because is this armor on top that they're wearing? I still don't know if it's he or she, so I'm going to say there. is this armor on top they're wearing, or is that their body? Because no foot fitting in this. That's a fucking talon. That's some bird feet right there. That's a Griffith foot. That's a fucking eagle foot. So are the God Hand, is that what they've always looked like? Or did they transform? And he's going to be begging for his life soon. You, who have been ordained by the laws of fate. Yes. Okay. This might be my favorite character. Your desperate desire for life has cleaved open space and brought us here. Archangel Void. Oh, and his name's Void. Again, looking straight out of Mars Attacks. And those aliens from Mars Attacks, even though that's not a scary movie, not a serious movie, the character design for the aliens scared the hell out of me for some reason. Just because of the brain residing on the outside of the body. And looks like he has no flesh to his face, an exposed jaw, teeth. His eyes look stitched closed. Ugh. Creepy. But he talks like very formally and calmly. So I wonder if that's supposed to be the point of, you know, such an enlarged brain, if he's the intelligent one and the, I don't know what you would call it. Please grant me my wish. Take that man's life. Avenge me upon him, please. I don't think that's going to work out, because what do you have to lose by having them sacrifice your enemy for you to also live? You have to give up something valuable to you for you to gain something. And your daughter's here, and his eyes are fused closed. That's terrifying. And again, Annie has no flesh on his face, so he's like skull and bones, but his brain resides outside of his skull. That's disgusting. We can't do that. Why? Your desire, which has cleaved open space, is nothing more than an overattachment to life and the fear of death. It's not based on any personal hatred for that man. We have come hither to grant you your deepest desire, you who have been ordained by the laws of fate. But that man, he's the one they call the Black Swordsman, the one who's destroyed so many apostles of the God Hand. You should consider him a hated enemy. So he is an apostle of the God Hand. He has been ordained by the laws of fate, ordained by them. They've given him this power via the Baelit, or Baerit, however you want to spell it and pronounce it. And his desire is his overattachment to life and the fear of death. Like I said last discussion, last episode, last chapter, he does not want to die. He fears death. He does not actually hate Guts. He has no personal attachment to Guts besides the fact that Guts is trying to kill him and he has a fear of dying. He does not want to die. Enemy. A few worthless servants killed is inconsequential to us. Ooh. A few worthless servants killed is inconsequential. Black Swordsman, you say? His petty existence is beneath our notice. Ooh. So Guts isn't even worth wasting their time, you know, killing him, using him as a sacrifice to help their apostle. One, you know, saving one measly apostle is not worth their time, let alone also this Black Swordsman enemy. Who cares? They're the God Hand. And he's picked up his sword. I don't think he's going to accomplish much, but this shot right here is intense. Especially when this hand is the fucked up hand. This hand isn't this the fucked up one where he, in the last chapter, he couldn't pick up the sword, but he's flowing with so much adrenaline right now. Look at the brand, spurting blood, and it's caught. He can lift up the Dragon Slayer now. Guts, magnificent. He can stand up with all those injuries. Fascinating. He's like an animal experiment, like a rat in a cage, a rabbit in experiment, and they want to study him. You know, the fascinating. Such impressive willpower and fighting spirit. Okay, I'm about to see some major nudity this chapter, am I? Because I'm seeing some full-on nipple action, full-on cleavage. Am I allowed to show this? And she's licking her lips. She likes guts, all right. Extreme hatred towards the God Hand, propping him up, towards Femto in particular, who after all is responsible for marking him with the brand. And yet, how long will he last? Okay, I need to get a note card out. We're learning names. I'm not going to be able to remember 5 names. And so Griffith is not Griffith's name. That's Griffith's old name, I assume. So we have Void, brain. We have Femto, who... Do I want to write this in pen or do I want to write this in pencil in case I fuck this up? I have more note cards. Femto is who used to be Griffith. Falcon. Falcon, man, woman, I don't know yet. And then we have 3 more names to figure out. My petty existence? Don't make me laugh. You're where you are now thanks to this petty existence. Thanks to me, who's fighting an army of the dead because of you. Thanks to me, who's writhing around in my own blood. Whoa. So, Griffith/Femto gave Guts his brand on his neck. And Griffith Femto is responsible for his mission, for him fighting the army of the dead. I don't know what writhing around in my own blood means. You stand there putting on airs like you're some kind of godly being. Yes. You're nothing but a squirming, sacrificial offering. Damn. Look how emotional he is and how stoic and unaffected Femto is. And he's pissing him off. What happened between those two? That's what I'm trying to find out. Femto's just letting him go up these stairs with that sword, dragging up the stone. Not worried whatsoever. Just we'll kick him down the staircase. The brand is oozing. Not even oozing, because oozing would imply just, no, it's spurting. Guts! Fool. Don't you know that your brand responds to demon kind and causes you pain? For lesser demons, you might feel little more than a needle prick. But the greater the demon, the greater the response, increasing your pain without end. And if that demon is too great, the pain might even kill you. So, it's like the brand can almost be seen as a scale, a filter, a gauge that we can use to categorize and place on the hierarchy the demons he faces. And he is writhing in pain, about to fall backwards down these stairs, the closer he gets to Femto Griffith. So right now we can place her at the top. That's as far as you go. Is he going to kick him, or it hurts so much he's going to fall? Guts! He's finished. I can't get over this. I'm being funny about this woman right here. Sexually seductive, siren of a woman. But this is my favorite God Hand member right now, because this is just crazy. He's getting a swing in. Is it going to just ding off the armor, or is Femto not even going to move? Oh. Oh. What? Did it hit Femto on the head and sent him flying backwards? Because I don't see any inclination that Guts got pushed or shoved, or even like a force or some sort of ability. But he just got splatted on the wall like a fly. And face plants on the stone. God damn. What tremendous fighting spirit. The fact that he could even swing his sword amidst all that pain. I'm sure he's hardly even aware. Incredible. So, she's like almost enamored by him. Like, not so much impressed as he is, like, as like a, almost like a test subject, or as a guinea pig, or as some sort of thing to observe and study. She is more like, I don't know, emotional and enamored, infatuated is the word I'm trying to think of. There we go. Infatuated. And don't forget, his body is covered in wounds after his fight with the Count. Don't forget. If that boy became one of ours, I'd love it. Oh, okay. Again, we're getting some boobage. But she's licking her lips. But he hasn't been ordained by the laws of fate. So he can't be among us. So there's beings or entities or something even above the God Hand. The God Hand serves somebody because they've been ordained by the laws of fate. And is fate an actual being? So they're saying Guts can't be one of them because he hasn't been ordained by this entity, being, somebody, something above them. Besides, he's finished. It seems I have unintentionally granted your wish, Count. Ah, I'm so grateful. Enough of the sideshow. It is time to perform the invocation of doom. Bro. Count, a sacrifice. For that, you can use the Black Swordsman. He's not going to agree to that. He's going to look at your daughter sitting right there. It sounds like he's the one in charge of taking the sacrifices and doing the deed. And did he create the Baelitz? Is he in charge of the apostles? Because he steps in and he's demanding this, demanding that. He's the one, give me a sacrifice. It's time to perform this. And he talks very formally, very eloquently. And again, I feel like that metaphorically, symbolically ties to, the brain, that he's the intelligent, thinking, introspective, philosophical one of the God Hand. Not good enough, Count. Now we're getting some cheekage. But why? That man has already been marked for sacrifice. Oh, that man has already been marked for sacrifice. What's more, the boy is merely your enemy. As a sacrificial offering for the invocation of doom, not just any lump of flesh and blood will do. It must be someone important to you, part of your soul, someone so close to you that it's almost like giving up a part of you. By making such a sacrifice to demon kind, you'll be able to sever any last remnants of your humanity. So, it's going to be his daughter. But is he going to be able to do it? I don't think so. This also implies, how did he become an apostle in the first place? Who did he sacrifice in the first place? His wife? Did his wife die? Has the daughter been lied to? And he killed his wife? And he ran away from that because of his own guilt that he killed his wife for this power? And it's exactly what Puck was, when Puck stood up to the Count last episode and was saying that, you sacrificed your humanity. This is what they're saying. You'll be able to sever any last remnants of your humanity. So Puck was telling the truth, or speaking truth. A fissure in your heart will open up, into which evil will surge. Giving up part of yourself. Oh no. So Puck knows, oh my God, it's going to be his daughter. Then who? Pointing to the daughter. Okay. So had Falcon, Eagle, Hawk, Griffith feet, and also has claws. And look at the musculature. This is why I don't think this is armor. This might actually be the body. Because look at how form-fitting that is. I don't know. And the daughter just sitting there like a damsel. Cut your love asunder, Count. And he looks terrified. It's not what he wants to do. No, please wait. If it were anyone else, any other person, but my daughter, Teresia, that's right. Any other person would be meaningless, Count. Don't be so upset. Just do what you did last time. Just do what you did last time. It was your wife, wasn't it, that gave you this power? You sacrificed your wife. There's no other person in his life that means anything to him. The wife's dead. The only other person in your life that means anything to you is your daughter. Last time? My goodness. The little lady doesn't know what her father has done? Stop, please. Not to my daughter, not that. Here's what happened. And he opens up. Is this like a physical orb that's going to visually show the past, show memory? A little projection? So that's what he used to look like. Just open time and space for a little look-see. This was the Count 7 years ago. A bit more trim, I might add. And, behold, it's you and your mother. They look exactly alike. Mother, a noble man and his beautiful, virtuous wife. A family, the very picture of happiness. Okay, he was still ugly back then, but I digress. As it would seem, stop. And his head is like cracked open from face planting onto the concrete. At the time, the land was overrun by pagans. In an attempt to destroy the heretics, the Count hunted them down throughout his kingdom. Hence, he was often away from the castle. So he was away from his wife and daughter. They were not protected by him. But one day, exhausted from a long, harsh heretic hunting campaign, the Count rushed back home to the arms of his beloved wife and daughter in order to soothe his soul. Is this going to be the stereotype where the man comes home from work early to find his wife cheating on him? Because that's what this sounds like. The Count rushed back to the arms of his beloved wife and daughter. His wife thought he was out fighting. He's not home ever. Oh, he's not going to be home. So let's have some fun. And that's when it happened. What the hell demon orgy is going on here? Can I show this? This is a bit gratuitous. I don't know if I can show this. Does the demon have... What is this? She's going for a ride here. But half these people ain't... They're just in ecstasy. They're not even a part of the action. We got some gropage. This man... Jesus Christ. Can I show this? Like, bro. It was an uncanny sight. In the midst of a strange stench and a wave of heat, a sea of flesh squirmed in a tangled mass. The description here is like, the actual writing is like incredible. Okay, yes, this demon is a woman because we got some like triple D's over here. Towering above it all was the statue of a grotesque god with the head of a goat. Everybody knows that satanic image, that satanic symbol. And entwined around that god, as if clinging, oh, the woman riding the demon is the wife, was the figure of a woman writhing in ecstasy, contorting her face in pleasure. It was the figure of the woman he loved above all else. What happened? That's not true. It can't be true. Teresia! Teresia! And he goes mad. He goes crazy. All these heretics he's killing. These pagan worshippers. And where does he find his wife? Fucking the pagan worshippers. Being a part of the pagan occult. Or whatever you want to call it. Cheating on him in some orgy. The Count went into a blind rage. When he came out of it, not a single person was moving. Only heaps of flesh and blood lay scattered about. But I assume the wife is still alive. Because you would have to sacrifice the wife while they're alive. He cut off heads. Look at head gone. Yeah, the head is in his own lap. Yep, the wife is still alive, looking exactly like, yeah, I look at, about to perform the same sacrifice. Well, not about to, but, and he raises his sword, cuts her down. I thought, so you can sacrifice someone who's already dead? Oh, okay, never mind. Stops. He puts his sword down. He can't do it. That's right. You couldn't do it. You couldn't cut away half of yourself. And seeing the triumphant, knowing smile of your betrayer drove you to the depths of despair. You decided to end your own life, to escape that despair. However, your despair itself was part of the wheel of fate. So he had... Oh, so he found the Baalit among this, like the dungeon. You see there's just a brain on a table for some reason, some eyeballs, a hand, and then a Baalit. He's about to kill himself. Your despair itself was part of the wheel of fate. Are they implying this was meant to happen? The wailing of your soul, which could never be erased by the gods of this world, opened up a portal to another dimension. This is a sick lineup right here. But there's only 4 of them. Where's Femto / Griffith? Is Griffith not a member of the God Hand yet? And you said, are you gods or messengers? From hell? It makes no difference whatever you are. Save me from my suffering. If you do, I'll give you anything. And we promised you that we would make you into a supernatural being who would never know sorrow or despair, because it would take away your humanity. You had no idea what form you were about to take, and you didn't know what they meant by, I'll give you anything. Or at this point, you wouldn't care that they take your wife because she betrayed you. For a single phrase, in exchange for just one phrase. Oh, holy shit. The brand. Bro. What the fuck? Here's the brand on the wife. They're consuming her, tearing off her leg, tearing off her other leg, tearing off her arm, her other arm, eating her alive. Just mutilated her, and the brand on her chest. Yes, indeed, you said it. I offer this woman for sacrifice. The life you couldn't take by your own hand, the life of the person you loved the most and hated the most, you gave it to us, so that you could bury your fragile human heart. This is exactly what Puck was saying last chapter. Puck read him like a coloring book, so that you could transcend your very humanity. He hasn't agreed to it yet. But he's sending the brand to his daughter. We shall grant you your burning desire. He's going to say no. Teresia! Hey, Bug. All I need is my right arm. Make it so that I can use it. Hurry up. Do it now. I gotta read the next chapter, right? I can't just leave on this. What the hell? I can't leave on that. Prologue 8. Hey, you alive? Yeah, more or less. Man, you sure have the luck of the devil. Here, is that Griffith? When Griffith was Griffith? And look how young Guts looks. Everything is small. Body, he has his eye. He still has his arm. This is before anything has happened. So they're a part of the same army here. They are allies. And they're the only two survivors. Actually, they're not wearing... Oh, wait. They are wearing the same armor. So they're the only ones still alive. Martyrdom for a merciless god. What a waste. In today's world, most people's lives are subject to the whims of a handful of nobility. Oh, wait. I'm supposed to read this first because I go right to left, top to bottom. So on the battlefield, the life of a common soldier isn't even worth a single piece of silver. In today's world, most people's lives are subject to the whims of a handful of nobility and royalty. Of course, even a king himself can't live exactly as he pleases. We are all at the mercy of a great tide, fate, or whatever you wish to call it. Fate. Fate. And we all disappear in the end, our lives spent never even knowing who we were. So Griffith is very philosophical, very introspective. In life, unrelated to one's social standing or class as determined by man, there are some people who, by nature, are keys that set the world in motion. That is the quote that I somewhat have gotten spoiled by myself, because if you look at chapter 0.01 and chapter 0.02, those two videos, the first 2 pages show Griffith, or Griffithu, or whatever it was, and this quote, something about, humans being the keys that set the world in motion, in Griffith's name. So I am somewhat spoiled that I know there is a before and after to Griffith and Femto. But at least here, early on, I'm getting the backstory. They are the true elite, as dictated by the golden rule of the universe. That's what I want to know. What is my place in the world? Who am I? What am I capable of? What am I destined for? It's funny. You're the first person I've ever spoken to like this. At that time, he shone before me as something beautiful, noble, and larger than life. So it is a he. At the time, he shone before me. And even Guts described him as someone beautiful. He has very feminine features. And that's why I couldn't tell at first whether Griffith Femto was a man or a woman. Especially now transformed into Femto. All you see is the feminine lips and the nose and the eyes. But I now know a he. And so the only woman, because they're not fucking human, the only feminine being in the God Hand is her showing off some more ass. The brand is getting closer. Come now, Speak it. Do you offer this girl as a sacrifice to demonkind or not? And he's conflicted. He doesn't want to die, but he doesn't want to sacrifice his daughter. And they're all just waiting in anticipation. What are you going to do? What are you waiting for? Get over here now. But or else your precious friend's going to get branded with one of these things. If you don't want that to happen, hurry up and heal my arm. That's what you're good for, isn't it? I forgot elves can heal, or there's some sort of abilities and powers that elves possess, but we haven't seen it so far. I'm beneath your notice, huh? This petty existence is beneath your notice? What's wrong, Count? Why are you hesitating? Teresia, if you keep this up, before you know it, your life will snuff out. You already belong to us. Even after you die, don't think you'll be resting in the peace in the afterworld. You are property. You are their property for eternity. Behold, Count. It's like riding a beast. It reminds me of SpongeBob riding David Hasselhoff in the SpongeBob movie. What is it? It's enormous, an endless swirl of I forget that Puck gets overwhelmed by the darkness, the evil, the hatred, and it overwhelms Puck. It's enormous, an endless swirl of consciousness, endless and evil, as if all the evil in the world were gathered here. Gee, a fucking tornado of souls. Amazing song, by the way. Amazing riff. Tornado of Souls. Damn, look at this labyrinth maze that we're in. Oh, they're not even anywhere close to each other. Void is all the way up here. Femto's here. She's over here. They're over here. So he can float. He can fly. He can levitate. And he sticks to walls. He's hanging upside down like a fucking bat. And they're standing up straight. Oh no, that's not. But it is, Count. It's only a small portion, of course. This is hell. Count, the vibrations of your soul are moving you ever closer to demonkind. When your body of flesh expires, your spirit will be whisked away by a wave of demonkind, straight to hell, and you shall wander within that dark swirl of souls for all eternity. Before long, you won't even be able to preserve any final remnants of your individual self. Like a drop of water, you'll simply dissolve, becoming no more than another swell in an ocean of dark souls. The writing is superb. I love this writing right now. It just makes me want to talk this way. I love it. And they're really trying to hammer home, you are going to suffer in eternity. If you die, if you don't sacrifice your daughter, you're going to hell, and you're going to be a drop in an ocean of souls in hell. That's the fate of those who get caught up in demonkind. Caught up with demonkind? Does that mean Guts? He has the brand. Count. Only two paths remain open to you. Be reborn, living among demons, and continuing your existence among demonkind, or have that existence absorbed by demonkind and revert to nothingness. Just one single, and he's like Mr. Burns. Just one single phrase. I offer you my daughter for sacrifice. That's all you have to say. And then your daughter will be branded. The child will then belong to demonkind. So Guts belongs to demonkind. But how has he not been mutilated and torn apart? And how is he fighting against demonkind? Is that resolve? Is that will? Speak it. I want to like, there's like a voice I want to give the void when he speaks. Like a very deep, raspy, echoey God voice. One phrase, just one single phrase, and you can see he's continuing to bleed out, bleed out, bleed out. So cold, all my blood is flowing out of my body. Is this the end for me? Only to die as some carved up monster, wretched and horrible, only to be sucked into that vortex for all eternity? No, no, I don't want to die. And he's crying. What an image here, though. Shedding tears, the reflection of his daughter in his eyes, but he's still saying, I don't want to die. Father. Looking into the past, throwing everything away for yourself. The thread of fate has been severed. They're latching onto him and sucking him away to be one with them. The dead are dragging the countdown to hell? Oh, and I was hoping for a close-up on all these. Wait. Is that Vargas? Or am I tripping? Because this I'm good. I'm too good. Vargas? Why is Vargas in hell? But he's getting his revenge. He's going to consume him, torture him, give him suffering the way he suffered. Teresia! Father? Reaching out. Oh, and he's actually becoming human again. It's like stripped away the demon essence from him, the apostle essence from him, and he actually looks human again. But they whisk him away. Teresia! That's gonna, traumatize her for the rest of her life. I said that last episode. Why are they trying to take him? Teresia! A sacrifice, a sacrifice. Guts! That's right, Guts has the brand. What's he reaching into his pocket for? Gunpowder? Griffith! And a dragon's breath. The light has them scurry away. Not going to do anything to him. Again, so stoic. Is there like a force field around here? Because look at how it's curving around. Is there like a force field orb around? Did I say her by accident? Is there a force field around him? Guts! Are they back? They've left the dimension? Has Femto Griffith spared him? Yeah, they're leaving, the portal's closing. And that's the portal closing, and then they're back in the castle. And the Bayolet is still here. Why are there two swords? Are we back? They're in the throne room. He's fucking mauled, mutilated. Whole lower half of his body gone, half of his face gone, limbs gone. Teresia. Oh, I thought that was him. I was like, there's no fucking way you're alive to be saying her name one last time. It's Puck. Teresia. No. Get away from me. It's a lie. All of it. The whole place. It's a lie. Take me back to my room. I want to go back to my room. I don't want to be here. Get me out of here. If I have to stay here in this place, I'd rather be dead. And he's finally standing. I always repeat like a little attention to detail where you see like the sheath of the dagger. And as we know, he broke off the dagger in the Count's face. You're going to have to replace that. Go ahead. Kill yourself. A tiny little smack. That's so heartless, Guts. Don't you understand in the least what Teresia has just been through? All right, then. Why not just die? Just give up if it's that bad. Come on, it's simple. All you have to do is slit your wrist with that thing. Then it'll all be over. The end of your worries. You'll probably end up going, oh, wait. Where'd that dagger come from? I assume he has so many knives on him and blades on him, but where did that come from? Then it'll all be over, the end of your worries. You'll probably end up going to heaven. Or would you prefer hell? At least that way you might get to see your father and mother. He's serious. That jerk means what he's saying. It's your life. Do what you want with it. Teresia! Hey, what do you think you're doing? Stop! Snap out of this. This is crazy. What just happened? So, she's about to kill herself. And before she can, or as she ponders if she wants to, you know, doubting if she really wants to, before she gets to make the choice whether to or not, the ground crumbles beneath her, and she is now falling to her death. Ooh, that's going to cut up her hands. But he tries to save her. This is the first time I'm seeing Guts actually attempt to save somebody. And is it because she's wholly innocent? Because he says, you'll probably get into heaven. Yeah, look at her hands bleeding. Puck, can't you pick her up? I thought elves have like a super strength or something. Hold on for dear life. Oh, and he swings her. I'm surprised that didn't cut her fingers off, because you can see her hands are still intact. But will he heal her? Puck can heal her of her wounds. Teresia, are you all right? My God, that's terrible. Oh yeah, her fingers are almost full coming off. What's this reaction out of Guts here? Hold on, let me treat your wounds now. Teresia? It all started after you came here. It's all because of you. Because of you. From those eyes, it looks like you don't plan to die anytime soon. That's fine by me. I'll kill you, devil. Someday, I swear, I'll kill you. Teresia, how could you? So now she's emotionally compromised. She's letting darkness consume her. And this could be her main desire. But it's kind of the same that as her father, that, you know, this person doesn't mean anything to her. This is just her enemy. Fine. I'm ready whenever you are. Guts, wait up. Eh? And he's crying. He's crying. Oh, I've never even realized this chain link on his sword. Is that what attaches the sword to his back? And he's wiping away tears. And he's walking away. The end. We have met the God Hand. Guts brutalized the Apostle Count so much. The Count's blood and calls activated the Baelit, which triggered some sort of portal or rip in space-time above the castle to transport them all to another dimension where the God Hand meets them. The writing and the visuals combined today really do tell me how mature and adult this story is meant to be. You know, one, the obvious sexualization and the nudity teetering between tame and subtle and intense. But then the dialogue, the writing, it's also mature. Like clearly a more mature audience intention. Guts is powerless this chapter for the first time. He can't touch the God Hand. He can't even get very close. He is full of rage, but can't do anything besides bleed from his brand and writhe in pain. In a chapter that is pretty damn sexual, Guts is impotent. He literally can't get up, playing into this sexualization, you know, that innuendo. Kind of a bummer. I somewhat spoiled myself. I knew what Griffith looked like as a human because of the intro pages on those scans that I read from the first couple prologue chapters. There's a page with like a full illustration of him as a young human with a quote above that I also recognized this chapter. So when I saw this tall, large figure standing over Guts, I had no idea who this was in this armor. I still don't know if it's armor or actual body. I kept commenting because this was either a woman or a man with the most feminine features. But then Guts yells, "Griffith!" And I was like, oh shit. Did those manga deck scans spoil me? You know, at that, I still didn't know whether Griffith was a man or woman. That spoiler image, even back then, looked androgynous to me. But I know Griffith of before, and I know this is Griffith after. And obviously after something happened, clearly. And today, I learned Griffith is no longer his name. It is Femto. Griffith is his dead name, the name of the man. Femto is the name of the creature, demon, God Hand member now. My favorite character today, probably easily my favorite character of the God Hand, and who I want to see so much more, even though I know when you do see him, it's not good, is Void. Character design is so creepy and cool, like a mixture out of something out of Hellraiser meets Mars Attacks meets I don't know what. Like some other 1950s horror movie. Very horrifying. He stands, speaks, and acts like a judge presiding. He seems to be the one in charge of carrying out rituals and ceremonies. Since he initiates it, these two chapters, you know, he cuts off people to continue them, is the one trying to push it forward. So it seems he is the one responsible for the Baelits and the ceremonies or rituals that follow. This seems to be his thing. He also speaks like a professor, like a creature of philosophy and metaphysics. I really like the way he speaks. And like I was trying to do during the reaction, just like there's a voice I imagine he has, that I was trying to emulate, just very deep and coarse and slow, emotionless. That's what I was trying to go for, and that's what I imagine in my head. It makes him scarier because there is no emotion or empathy or anything there. He's formal, yet abstract. He comes off totally detached, and his eyes. Void does not see. His eyelids are stitched closed. Void does not look at the world or at people. Does he need to? He loses sight for insight. I want to find out, whichever chapter, who is what digit of the God Hand? Is there a leader? Do each correspond to a digit on the hand of the God Hand? I assume it's not random, because that would just be, go-to story writing. Like, is Femto Griffith the thumb of the God Hand, since he was seemingly last? 4 fingers, then the thumb arrived to complete the God Hand. Or is Femto the index finger, the ring finger? Or is Void the index finger or the thumb? These two seem to be the ones with the most influence or power amongst the group. And Void is much older than Femto. So if we're just going based off, since seniority and existence through time, Void, I imagine, like I said, is probably the oldest by far. So maybe he's the thumb. The thumb has the most strength in your hand. It is how you control everything, how you hold everything, even how you judge everything. The thumb has the most power, but the index finger points the way. Like, surely this kind of symbolism has to exist. Like, would Mira pass this up, or is it too cliche considering even I'm thinking of it? The Count pleads for his restoration and offers Guts as the sacrifice, the price. He makes a transactional argument, not a personal one. Guts has slain apostles. He's the enemy. Killing him would avenge the hierarchy, remove a hindrance, an enemy, and buy the survival of one of their apostles, and more down the line. The God Hand shut that door in his face, with Void acting as that presiding judge. It is time to perform the invocation of doom. Your desire is nothing more than an over-attachment to life and a fear of death. It's not based on any hatred for that man. And, not just any random life will do. The invocation of doom, which, again, that's such a sick type. Invocation of doom. It requires you be stripped of your human bonds. Guts is irrelevant to them. He is a nobody to them. And they don't care about the deaths of their apostles. Apostles are nothing more than instruments. They're inconsequential. Apostles killed by Guts is nothing more than static noise. Regardless, Guts is ineligible anyways. He is already marked for sacrifice. He already possesses the brand. You cannot stamp the same soul twice. The Count is told it must be someone important to you, part of your soul, someone so close to you that is almost like giving up a part of you. You'll be able to sever any last remnants of your humanity. A fissure in your heart will open up into which evil will surge. Sacrifices must be personally precious, not strategically useful. They demand the thing you love, the bond that tethers you to being human. That's the point. Sever your last tie to humanity and empathy and everything that comes with it, so that new life can come about. Purely apostolic. The God Hand argue that the path to freedom is to cut away power. They don't tempt with power. They frame love as the last chain to a self that must be discarded and forgotten. Make room for malice. Sever your last tie. You're merely monstrous now. Become perfectly monstrous. Any other person would be meaningless to you. They want Teresia. the most precious thing. Almost always a family bond, that is. Because familial love, is the strongest anchor to the human self, to the soul. Losing your child is like losing a part of you. And they tell, hey, just do what you did last time. We see a projection appear. The Count returns home unexpectedly to find his wife cheating on him by participating in this huge heretical orgy. So not only was she cheating on him, she was cheating on him with the very heretics he was out risking his life fighting and trying to get rid of. And I like the fact we never learn why she cheated, let alone cheated by participating in a pagan orgy. I like that we never find out why, and it's never said, because we only reside in the Count's psychology here. And he couldn't bring himself to kill his wife with his own bare hands, even in his rage. He was even about to kill himself, but two couldn't do that. And he cries, and those cries and his vengeful despair and his suffering activated. You can see in the background a bailet on the table, activates it. His desire opened up the portal for the first time. He didn't know who he was talking to, but he begged them, the God Hand, save me from my suffering. And if you can do that, I'll give you anything you want. And they promised him they would turn him into a supernatural being who would never know sorrow or despair, in exchange for a single phrase. And he says it. I offer this woman for sacrifice. The life he couldn't take himself by his own hand, he gave to the God Hand, so that he could bury his fragile heart, so that he could transcend his very humanity. Puck threw that word fragile at the Count last chapter. He clocked him to a T with that one. Read him like a book. What I couldn't tell from the panel is, did the Count devour his wife when he transformed, or was she consumed by the tornado of souls from hell? It's not readily apparent to me in the illustration we see. I can't tell if her body is ripped apart by him, or if hell opened up and the souls took her. But I have to assume he devoured her, because the entire thing for the past few chapters is how he is a devourer with an appetite. And also, if she was sucked up by the tornado of souls, when he gets taken to hell, I assume she would have also been a visible soul that we saw, and she was taking him to hell, but I'm not sure. What's interesting, the first time he used the bailet was to escape his pain. In exchange for becoming an apostle, he would never feel sorrow or despair. That's what they promised. And yet, in this chapter, he is feeling immense sorrow and despair. And he is trying to use the bailet again because he fears dying. And on top of that, he has to decide between himself and his daughter. So wouldn't both of those fall under the category, the emotions of sorrow and despair? So he still knows sorrow and despair. He got lied to. He got played. So is the God Hand full of shit? And hey, it's the God Hand. Broken promises, manipulating the easily manipulated into slavery. What else did you expect from the God Hand? Is that the point? He's subjugated into slavery. And he can't even escape them in death. They tell him, you already belong to us, even after you die. Don't think you'll be resting in peace in the afterworld. The God Hand dominate the living and the dead. We see hell open up. It was so cool. A tornado of souls pours out of hell. Great Megadeth song. One of my favorite guitar riffs ever. Hate Dave Mustaine's voice, though. The God Hand tells the Count, like a drop of water, you'll simply dissolve, becoming no more than another swell in an ocean of dark souls. Again, the writing I love. You'll just join a churning reservoir of the dead. The Count doesn't choose quick enough. The tornado of souls comes for him. Void announces the thread of fate has been severed. We actually see a familiar face in the mass of souls pulling and tugging on the Count dragging him to hell. Vargas. But why is he in hell? What did he do to deserve being in hell? One, am I just thinking of a Christian heaven and hell when that doesn't exist in this world? Is Vargas in hell because he died by the count? Or is it because he actually said he desired dragging the count to hell himself? So he actually wanted to go to hell. His soul, his spirit was so consumed with desire for revenge that he ended up in hell to fulfill that desire. So the count, he couldn't sacrifice his daughter. She was always innocent. He loves her. And he also knows that his love is stained by what he has become. So he couldn't say the phrase. It's a fucked up chapter for Teresia. She learns her father's a monster, that he sacrificed her mother, and that he was willing to consider sacrificing her. She had to helplessly sit there while Guts used her as a human shield for leverage against her father last chapter. And this chapter, she sits helplessly in another dimension while she is being auctioned off and put up for sale, essentially, and potentially used as leverage again by her father for his life. You know, she, at the end of the chapter 0.08, she cries over her father that she understands was an abuser and a protector. You know, so what a bitter chapter for her. And that's why Guts cries at the end, likely. We have to talk about Guts and Griffith's past, though. That's where I'm going to focus the end of this discussion on. We learned about their origins together, the first time they ever met, it seems, on the battlefield. They are both extremely young, allies, it even seems. I'm just going based off the shared armor and that, you know, they're amongst a pile of allied dead bodies and they're alive. Guts is probably not called Guts yet. I can't imagine that's his real name. He probably also has a dead name, same as Griffith does. He still has both eyes. He still has that arm, no scars. A handsome young man. Griffith is a textbook pretty boy. Androgynous, feminine features, long hair, beautiful face. He has charisma. He's someone you lean forward to listen to speak. He is full of ambition. He is curious, full of wonder. He wants to know things. He wants to know himself. He wants answers to life and the universe. He speaks very introspectively. He speaks very intellectually and philosophically. He says, "Martyrdom for a merciless God. What a waste. In today's world, most people's lives are subject to the whims of a handful of nobility and royalty. Even a king himself can't live exactly as he pleases. We are all at the mercy of a great tide, fate, or whatever you wish to call it. And we all disappear in the end, our lives spent never even knowing who we were. In life, there are some who by nature are keys that set the world in motion. That's what I want to know. What is my place in the world? Who am I? What am I capable of? What am I destined for? Does he believe in free will and creating your own destiny, or is everything predetermined fate that he can't escape? Is he a nihilist? No, all at the mercy of a great tide, riding some current you can't swim against or swim out of, never even knowing who you were. I always say, who am I is the only question worth asking, and it's the only one that'll never be answered. And I always say the most creative act you'll ever undertake is the act of creating yourself. I'm definitely no nihilist. Fuck no. And I definitely don't believe we're all at the mercy of some great tide. But going along with the water symbolism, I do believe in going with the flow, because if you do, then the flow will go with you, and you're in harmony. I do believe in being unattached. I do practice detachment. But detachment isn't the same as indifference. I'm not indifferent whatsoever. To me, detachment is understanding you don't own people, and we don't ultimately own anything either. You don't possess anyone or anything. You know, attachment is wanting to possess or wanting to be possessed. And attachment is saying, I love you because blank, because you're mine, for example. That's possessive. That is ego. Detachment is, loving people for them, period. And detachment is like, okay, when you see suffering, go and relieve it, but make sure you don't come away with that suffering sticking to you. Let go of everything. That's what I mean by detachment. People are just going to be people. Don't be attached to choices others make. Don't feel jealous. Don't feel insecure. Don't become attached to betrayal. So I don't feel jealousy. And it's not perfect. I try my best not to. So I can say, okay, I'll change it. I try my best to not feel jealousy. Try my best to not feel insecure. I don't feel betrayal. I don't miss people. Because I know everything is just a part of life going on, moving forward. I don't expect or anticipate any result in what I do, but I'm just alert to everything that does happen in life. Whatever happens is good, because it's the thing that happened. That's how you have to look at it. It must be good in the grand scheme. That's how you remain optimism and positivity and peace. And try to see the world and allow it to be whatever it is. Surrender control. In accepting the world as it is, you can view everything in self-acceptance. I don't try to run against the grain of life. Struggling, worrying, planning, controlling, all that runs against the grain of life. Let life be chaos and let life be orderly at the same time, as it pleases. You can't have one without the other. If you want to be in the flow of life, you can't struggle against it at the same time. I accept that I am always going to be uncertain about everything. I'm always going to feel off balance. My duty as a human being is to always stumble but never fall. That is detachment, letting go. And remembering that I'll be dead someday. Soon. I'll be dead soon. Compared to the lifespan of this planet and universe, I'm here for that much. Remembering I'll be dead and I can't do anything about it is the most important concept I've absorbed to help me make the important choices in my life. The feelings I want to act on, the regrets I don't want to have, the fun, dumb things I want to do, and the mistakes I'll most likely make. Remembering you're going to die one day is the best way I know to avoid the trap of thinking you have something to lose. You're already naked. You're already dead. There is no reason to not follow your heart. So when reading Griffith speak, I don't believe in fate. I don't believe in nihilism whatsoever. I don't believe we're all at the mercy of a great tide. But I do believe in detachment, accepting everything, going with the flow. I believe in asking the questions, who am I? What am I capable of? What is my place in the world? But I do accept the fact that most of these questions will never be answered, and that's the point. But it sounds like Griffith's downfall might be that he believed his fate was set, that he couldn't create himself, he couldn't escape, he couldn't diverge paths. All he could do is just discover his end result that was already written. His downfall is nihilism. Something happened to him along the way that corrupted him, because Guts said, at that time, he shone before me as something beautiful, noble, and larger than life. But come to the present day, right now, this chapter, and they appear to be mortal enemies, and they have a tragic, violent, horrid past. Because what the hell happened here? Griffith gave him the brand. Guts is fighting an army of the dead because of Griffith. So, I hope the prologue chapters continue to set up their past. I want to see much more of that. It's very fascinating to me. I love this. And the only way to find out is to keep reading. So that's where this discussion ends today. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already to stay in the loop. Keep the conversation going down in the comments below. Check out my Patreon for exclusives and unedited reactions. And having said all that, and with that said, so long, farewell, until next time. Thank you. Have a good one. Peace.